Welcome back to United USA, where you're going to get it straight, you're going to get the truth and transparency, unlike mainstream media. I'm going to give it to you just the way it is and call it like I see it. And that's the reason why you come to United USA, so thank you very much. So, Dario Dizdar, let's have a conversation, bro. Let's talk. So, Dario wants us to believe that the girl that he was with was not feeling good. She was getting overheated. They allegedly did not have water, which I don't believe. And the alibi is that she wasn't feeling good, and so she decided to go back down to the parking lot, and he went up to the top. So that contradicts itself right there, because when they found her body, she didn't have his car keys. He had his car keys. How can she go down to the parking lot to cool off in his car if he had his car keys still with him? Boom, another contradiction. Plus he said, oh no, I've hiked this trail all the time to first responders. And then in his official statement, he said, no, I'm not familiar with, I'd never hiked Echo Canyon Trail. I'm not really familiar with the mountain. So more contradictions. So this reminds me of the movie Devil's Advocate. Al Pacino. Who's seen it? Some of you have seen it? Okay, good. All right, now follow me. Listen up. So in that movie, there was a guy that was being represented on a murder trial, and he was being accused of the murder of his wife. And so what the defense played, his defense attorney said, you were with your secretary or whatever having an affair. And he was like, what? No, I wasn't, which he was having an affair. But what they were saying was, and he was responsible for the murder in the movie, but what they were showing was, hey, listen, Keanu Reeves played the lawyer in Devil's Advocate and said, you know what? He's like, no, I'm not doing that. And he goes, you know why you're going to do that? You know why you're going to plead like this? And you know why you're going to get on the stand and tell the jury this? Is because as long as you're banging your secretary, you weren't killing your wife.
I'm going to tell you some things during the course of this trial that are going to make you like him even less. But this isn't a popularity contest. It's a murder trial. And the single most important provable fact of this proceeding is that Alexander Cullen was somewhere else when these horrible crimes took place.
Notice a similarity in Dario Dizdar's statements. He's claiming he was someplace else. He's like, I wasn't with her. I don't know what happened to her. She was supposed to meet me down at the parking lot. I wasn't with her. Now listen, watch this.
What the fuck was that about? They're gonna hate me. Listen to me like you've never listened to anybody before in your life. I'm gonna bust my ass to make sure they hate you. Because as long as you're out boning Melissa, you're not home killing your wife.
So what that shows that either he or his department would rather play that story and that alibi to make him look like a selfish a-hole that would just leave a girl who was obviously sick and be so selfish. See, as long as he's a selfish a-hole, he's not a killer. Who's with me, ladies and gentlemen? Who understands what I'm trying to tell you? In other words, Dario is lying about this whole thing. There was foul play. There was something that happened on that mountain, and we don't know all the facts, and who knows if we'll ever know. But as long as he's a selfish a-hole who allegedly separated and wasn't with her at the time of death, he isn't, in the eyes of the public, guilty of murder or foul play. Because as long as he's the selfish a-hole who went to the top of the mountain, he still is not viewed as a potential killer. Do you understand? So that's why they're playing this ace up the sleeve. They're playing that card because they know that as long as they use that alibi that he was not with her and he went up to the top of the mountain, okay, people can ridicule and criticize him and say, what a jerk, what an idiot, who does that, who leaves somebody like that on a first date or their girlfriend or someone who's sick, who does that? Do you see? So they've got everyone distracted. Don't you see, ladies and gentlemen? As long as he's the a-hole who was selfish and split up from her, he still is a distraction and diversion from the fact that he's not implicated as a killer, even though he was a selfish a-hole allegedly split up from a girl who was sick. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I've helped to give you some perspective. Okay, this is what I do. As a journalist, as a news analyst, being a detective comes very naturally to me, and it's my privilege, pleasure, it's my honor to do this. Imagine decades ago, somebody couldn't do this and just have their own channel and platform without extensive resources, and now we're able to use the World Wide Web to reach the masses. Here are just more examples of contradictions and holes and in this story that contradict rationality and logic. Please be a voice for Angela Tremonte. Like, share, get the word out there. Justice for Angela.